Hi everyone, it's Jo and welcome back to another reading vlog. This week's going to be interesting because I've picked something not because I think I'm going to enjoy it, but because of the exact opposite. So this week I am going to be reading Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I don't think it needs much introduction. It's an 8-book fantasy series, it's incredibly popular. She also has another series, Court of Thorns and Roses, that I've seen is also incredibly popular. One of the reasons that I've chosen to read this, despite the fact that I don't think I'm going to enjoy it that much, is due to a strange coincidence that I've just realised. So back when I was I think I was 16, about 16, 17 years old, I used to spend a lot of time reading and writing on fictionpress.com. I didn't realise that Sarah J Maas actually published the first few chapters of this book on fictionpress.com under the title Queen of Glass. And when I was reading on Fiction Press, I actually read those few chapters and really enjoyed them and was very interested by the idea that it was inspired by Cinderella. I thought it was a Cinderella retelling and I really wanted to know where that was going. And then I remember it got taken down because she said she was going to publish it. Fast forward 15 to 18 years, I've just realised that this is that book and it feels... I have a compulsion now to read it and complete that story, that I started reading it and now I want to finish reading it, even though my taste has changed so much in the intervening years that what I enjoyed when I was 16, I don't have high hopes for me enjoying at 33. So I don't think I'm going to particularly like it. In fact, I think I'm going to take quite a strong negative emotional reaction to it. However, I think it's a good challenge for myself to try to find the positives in it nonetheless. One of the great things about books are that they do inspire such strong emotional reactions. You know, you love the books that you love and you hate the books that you hate. But actually, the older I get, the more I realise that there is no right and wrong, there is no good and bad, there is only opinion. And just because I don't like something, just because something turns my stomach and makes me uncomfortable, does not mean that it's a bad book. So I'm going to try and get over my tendency to hate anything that is popular. And I'll take you along for the ride and we'll see how I get on with Throne of Glass. So I actually have to just stop and laugh at how technically this book is dedicated to me. Hello. So it is bedtime. I have not filmed anything else today. Today is one of those days. I have been chasing my tail all day. I haven't had the headspace to film, but I wanted to stop in and give you a reading update before bed now that I've read the first 50 pages. So for anyone that doesn't know, the plot is that Selena is an assassin, or she was the best assassin, and she was captured and she works as a slave in a salt mine, and then she's taken out and she meets the prince, and the prince basically gives her a choice that she can be his champion and defeat these other contestants in this competition to be the champion, and then she'll get her freedom after so many years. I really had to struggle through these first few chapters. I've read the first 7 chapters. In the first 3 or 4 particularly, I was just hating it, absolutely hating it. And I didn't want to come into this and have nothing good to say about it, so that's why I kept reading and didn't come back after chapter 2 to have a wee moan. So by now we're starting to see some little plot elements start to be introduced, some little bits of mystery. The thing that sort of has a little hook for me is why did the magic disappear? You know, so it was outlawed, but actually it just disappeared by itself. So that was one thing that I thought, okay, I want to know why that was. I'm interested to see how that plays out. The other one was the footprints and the flowers in her tent. So I don't really consider these spoilers because it's like the first 50 pages or so. As for the Characters and the writing. What to say about the characters and the writing? The characters are very cliche, I would say. So far we've got the sassy assassin protagonist with an attitude. We've got the upright captain of the guard, and we've got the cocky, arrogant, handsome prince. They all feel a bit cookie cutter to me. I've read them in I don't know how many books. Also, we're starting to see we have the prince's point of view for a short paragraph where he talks about how beautiful he finds her. Which I don't get this in romance, where it's like she's just really sassy and cheeky to him, and he's like, oh yeah, I like that. She's so beautiful. I don't know why, but I'm really attracted to her. But no, she's an assassin. I can't. So this is what we're getting from the romance. Yes, there's a reason why YA fantasy romance is not my genre, because bits like that stick in my throat. I'm also not sure if it's going to be a love triangle or if it's going to be the stereotypical, the bad boy womanizer prince. He likes her, but she actually like love triangle. I feel like this Kaol, I had to look up how to pronounce that name. This is something else that annoys me, is these bloody name spellings. I feel like he's going to be the love interest, but I feel like the prince is going to fall in love with her and she's going to be like, no. So the plot does have a little bit of a hook in me. There are some breadcrumbs that have been sprinkled that I'm interested to see how those develop. But otherwise, I can't say that I'm enjoying it. But that's not surprising. It was always going to be hard for me to enjoy this. So I may read some more before I go to sleep. I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow. I have a busy day tomorrow, but we'll try to get some reading in after work. So, see you soon. I just need to take a moment to have a little laugh at the prince's note where he promises her that the books are not dull, for he's not one inclined to sit through pages of nonsense and bloated speech. Well, I wish I could say the same. Hello. So it's the end of the day. I made it through the workday. I went to the gym. I've had food. I've read some more. My phone's been playing up, so I don't know how much of that reading actually got recorded. Just a short one tonight. I only managed another 30 pages or so. But I think I know what it is that is giving me the most trouble with this book. Like, the writing is, it's fine. It's not amazing. It's not the worst thing I've ever read. I just don't like Selena. She's really annoying. She's really arrogant. She's really boastful. She is meant to be this amazing assassin, but so far, Chaol's managed to walk into her room twice while she's sleeping to wake her up, and then he's just beaten her with a sword as well. So she's meant to be this amazing assassin. Her internal monologue is constantly talking about how she wants to kill people and how it would be so easy to kill this person that's annoyed her, and yet there's nothing that shows that she's actually got any competence to back this up. And I think that's the thing that's really getting me, is she's the main character, we get her viewpoint, we're spending all of our time with her, and I just don't like her. She really annoys me. She sticks in my throat. We're starting to get some of the romance beats now. They're very cliche. I cannot keep a straight face when I read them. It's very much just, but still, I think it would be more palatable if there was a main character that I could actually connect with. So those are my feelings so far. I won't get the chance to read much tomorrow. I have a movie night with a friend. I'm going to her house. She lives on the other side of town, so I need to leave pretty much right after I finish work, and I probably won't get back until late. So the rest of the book, I think I will need to read over the weekend and probably just marathon most of that on Saturday. I might come back with another update before it's finished, or I might just go through the whole thing and then come back and tell you my thoughts. So I'll see you in a bit. Do you want to be in it? Oh, do you want to be in the video? Say hello. No, not to me. Say hello to the camera. Say hello. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I take back what I said about Selena being a terrible assassin, because she has successfully bored me to death. I haven't filmed much because it's been a struggle to read this book. I haven't wanted to pick it up, I haven't wanted to film, I haven't wanted to talk about it, but here we are, the video needs to be finished. To start with, I hated it, but in the end, I didn't even hate it, it was just really boring. I just feel the characters that I didn't care about, doing things that I didn't care about to achieve outcomes that I didn't care about. Literally everyone in the book could have died and it would have made it 10 times more interesting. So, characters. Selena, I don't find her relatable. Now you could argue that, oh, well, you're in your 30s now, you're too old to relate to teenage girls. I don't buy that, because in Popco, the last book that I read, I found young Alice very relatable. So it's not about the age of the character, it's about the character themselves and how they're portrayed. And Selena just, nah, I could not connect with her. I didn't like her. Chaol and Dorian, 2-1 note. In fact, the majority of the characters were more like caricatures than actual characters. There wasn't a lot of subtlety there, I found. And there's a difference between having a character that you hate enough to keep reading because you want to see them get their comeuppance. You have some really good villains. 2 of the best villains, in my opinion, that I've ever read are Dolores Umbridge and Cersei Lannister. As much as J.K. Rowling, I'm not the biggest fan of her, but when I first read The Order of the Phoenix and reading the scenes with Dolores Umbridge, I hated her so much. It gave me energy how much I hated her. I kept reading because I hated her so much and I wanted to see her get her comeuppance. Same with Cersei Lannister. That kept me turning the pages because I was like, one day this woman, she's going to get it and I can't wait. I'm here for it to see when she gets what's coming to her. But that's a skill and it's still a connection to the character in some way. You are having an emotional response to that character. Apart from mild irritation, I felt no emotional response to any of these characters. The world felt very cookie cutter fantasy world, as did much of the plot. So there were moments where I thought, okay, right, things are starting to happen, and then all you got was more training, more visits from Tweedledum and Tweedledee, that's Dorian and Chaol, and more navel gazing about how it would be so easy to escape, or how she wants to kill this person, or she's going to kill this person, or hints of tragic backstory, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god. There's all this build up to the ball, for example, and then absolutely nothing happens. Maybe that's down to me having incorrect expectations of this book. As I mentioned, I did read the first few chapters on Fiction Press, and I don't know if I'm remembering incorrectly, but it seemed like... So the book is inspired by Cinderella, she says, and on Fiction Press it felt like there was much more of a Cinderella influence, and I had thought that it was a Cinderella retelling, kind of in the vein of Ella Enchanted. Like at some point she was going to go to a ball with glass slippers on and then run away to kill someone. I'm sure there was a scene where she had to go and live in a house and there was a girl there who was kind of like a Cinderella figure. She was talking to mice, but the mice were dead. Maybe I'm thinking about a completely different story, but that was like one of the most interesting parts for me, and that was not in this book. So either that's a completely different story and I'm getting them confused, or it was changed drastically in the editing process before it was published. I have to say, at the very least, the romance was much less toxic than I thought it would be. I mean, I didn't care about them or the relationship. They could be together or not together, but at least it had that going for it. As for the prose, it was a bit like just eating bland porridge. No need to chew or savour or taste, just swallow. And I mean, yeah, if I was hungry and it was all that was there, then I would eat it, but it's not like I'm going to order it off the menu in a restaurant. And I was to say, there were occasional moments that showed that she's capable of much more than that, but they were few and far between. It might be interesting actually to read one of her later books to see whether she develops as a writer, since I'm pretty sure this was her first book. And she started it when she was quite young as well, so it might be interesting to see whether she develops. I was speaking to my friend who's read the whole series, and she did say that she found the first book very slow and that it gets better in the later books, which is a fair point. However, in my mind, just because a book is part of a series doesn't acquit it of its primary function of telling an interesting and self-contained story, which I don't think this did. As well, the job of a first book in a series is to make you want to come back and read the rest of the series. I will not be reading the rest of the series. That being said, just because I didn't enjoy this book doesn't mean I don't think anyone else can. There's obviously a large group of people out there who do enjoy it, who love the series. And if I'd read this when I was younger, when I was like 16, then I would probably have loved it too, and then I would probably have nostalgia for it now and could maybe even read it as an adult. It was definitely an interesting experience, getting myself to read something that I knew I probably really wasn't going to like. I can't say that I found much positive to say about it, but I did. And I went in determined to hate it. And in the end, I can't say that I really hated it. I just did not enjoy it. Editing Joe here, because I realised that I did not actually give the book a rating. So I thought I would just pop in and give my final verdict. 2 stars, I would say. It's not, as I said, it's not a bad book. There are no bad books. It's just really not to my taste. Didn't really enjoy it. Won't be reading it again. So yeah, 2 stars, and that's probably me being generous. So those were my thoughts on Throne of Glass. This was a bit of a meh video. I couldn't really be bothered because it just did not inspire me, but can't wait to move on to something that I actually do want to read. If you're here until the end of the video, then well done, because I didn't really want to be here till the end of the video. So leave me a thumbs up emoji, and if you really feel like it, you can like and subscribe. Stick around. Hopefully the videos will get better. the videos will get better. So I will hopefully see you next time.